What if your entire life is not something that happens to you, but something you are fully responsible for? Even when you stay silent. Sartre believed that freedom is not a gift, but a burden, and avoiding it may be the greatest lie we tell ourselves. You are condemned to be free, he said, but what does that really mean in a world that constantly tries to choose for you? Jean-Paul Sartre did not believe in destiny. He did not believe in divine purpose, fixed identities, or a grand plan waiting to be revealed. For Sartre, life does not come with instructions. There is no blueprint for what you are meant to be. You are born into a world that is indifferent, sometimes even absurd, and from that moment forward, it is up to you to choose who you are. This is the core of Sartre's existentialism. Existence precedes essence. You exist first, and then you define your essence through your actions. This might sound liberating at first. You are free to be anything, to choose, to create meaning. But Sartre warns us, this kind of freedom is not comforting. It is terrifying, because it means there is no one else to blame. No fate, no nature, no God, only you. Every choice you make is yours. Every decision reflects not just a moment, but a declaration of who you are becoming. And even not choosing is still a choice. Sartre saw this radical freedom as the human condition. We are always free, even when we feel trapped. You may be imprisoned, oppressed, limited by your circumstances, but within your mind, you still have the freedom to respond, to interpret, to act. He said, man is nothing else but what he makes of himself. You are not your past. You are not your labels. You are what you choose to do now. But this also means that with freedom comes responsibility. You cannot hide behind excuses. You cannot say, I had no choice, because even surrender is a choice. Even silence is a choice. You are responsible not just for your own life, but for the example you set for others. Sartre called this anguish, the realization that every act you commit sends a message about what you believe should be possible for humanity. He believed that when you make a choice, you are not only choosing for yourself, you are choosing for all people. Not literally, but symbolically. If you decide to live with integrity, to speak the truth, to resist injustice, you are showing that it is possible, and therefore, others can too. But if you choose passivity, conformity, or falsehood, you are declaring to the world, this is acceptable. That is the weight of freedom. That is the burden of responsibility. Sartre rejected the idea that we are victims of our emotions. He did not deny that emotions are powerful, but he believed that we are responsible for how we interpret and act on them. You are not angry because of the world. You are angry because of the meaning you have assigned to what happened. You are not hopeless because of fate. You are hopeless because you have stopped choosing. In Sartre's view, the moment you reclaim your freedom to choose, even in suffering, you begin to reclaim yourself. This kind of freedom is not about doing whatever you want. It is about becoming fully aware that everything you do defines you. It is not about selfishness. It is about self-creation. You are the author of your life story. And every line is written in action, not intention. Sartre believed that the greatest danger is not the lack of freedom, but the denial of it. When we pretend we have no choice, we fall into what he called bad faith. We lie to ourselves to avoid the anxiety of freedom. But as Sartre insisted, anxiety is the price of authenticity. When you stop looking for someone else to define your path, you begin to walk your own. It may be uncertain, it may be lonely, but it is real, and in that reality lies your only chance to live a life that is yours, not borrowed, not inherited, but created from the inside out. In Sartre's philosophy, freedom is not a privilege, it is a burden, a sacred, inescapable burden, and with it comes a kind of existential pressure that is unlike anything imposed by society or tradition. When Sartre says we are condemned to be free, he means that we cannot avoid the responsibility that comes with our existence. Even if you deny it, even if you run from it, even if you hide behind rules, or routines, you are still making choices. And those choices shape the world. He believed that we are radically free in every moment, even when we feel stuck, even when we are cornered by circumstances. There is always some space for decision. And it is in that space, however narrow, however painful, that our humanity reveals itself. Freedom, for Sartre, is not about doing whatever feels good. It is about owning your choices, even the ones that terrify you, especially those. Most people try to escape this freedom. They run toward systems that will give them answers. They cling to religion, ideology, culture, not for meaning, but for comfort. They want to be told what to do. They want to follow, because following feels safer than standing alone. But Sartre saw this as self-betrayal. He called it bad faith. A kind of lie you tell yourself to avoid the truth of who you are and what you must become. Bad faith is when you say, "That's just who I am," instead of asking, "Who am I becoming?" It is when you act like a waiter performing a script, not a person creating meaning. It is when you reduce yourself to a function, a role, a mask, so you do not have to carry the full weight of your freedom. But Sartre warned, this is not safety. This is sleepwalking, and one day, you will wake up and realize that you have spent your life not living, but avoiding life. The weight of responsibility does not mean that every choice will be perfect. Sartre never promised clarity. What he demanded was courage. The courage to choose even when the path is unclear. The courage to accept that you may be wrong. The courage to live without guarantees. Because true freedom is not about certainty, it is about action. About saying, "This is what I choose. Even if it scares me, even if no one agrees, even if I cannot predict the result." And this responsibility does not end with you. It extends to how you see others. If you are free, then so are they. You cannot claim your own freedom and deny theirs. You cannot live authentically and treat others as objects. Freedom demands recognition. It demands that you see others not as tools or threats, but as fellow creators of meaning. Sartre believed that this shared responsibility is the foundation of ethics, not rules written in stone, but respect written in choice. To live responsibly is to live with weight, the weight of being real, the weight of not blaming others for your life, the weight of saying, "This is my path, not inherited, not imposed, but chosen." And in that weight, paradoxically, you find your strength, you find your center. Because when you stop waiting for permission and start living from the inside out, you become a force, a presence, a person not defined by history, or biology, or culture, but by your will to exist. This is not an easy path, but Sartre never offered ease. He offered truth, the truth that you are free, that you are responsible, that your life is yours, and no one else's. Sartre believed that the greatest threat to your freedom is not oppression from outside, it is self-abandonment from within. It is when you stop asking questions, when you start living on autopilot, when you take the roles you have been given and mistake them for your soul. He called this bad faith, and it is the condition of many lives. A quiet resignation, a dull ache, a sense that you are drifting, not deciding. But the antidote, Sartre said, is authenticity. To live authentically is not to be perfect. It is not to always know who you are. It is to face your freedom with open eyes. To stop hiding behind identities. To stop pretending you have no power. It is to take ownership of your past, your flaws, your contradictions, and still say, "This is who I am choosing to be today." Authenticity is not a feeling. It is a discipline. It is the practice of aligning your choices with your values, even when no one is watching. It is saying yes when you mean yes, and no when you mean no. It is refusing to betray your own clarity just to avoid conflict. It is daring to speak, even when your voice shakes. It is living as if your life matters, because it does. Not because the universe guarantees it, but because you declare it. Sartre knew that we are shaped by culture, history, family, language. He was not naive, but he insisted that none of these define us completely. We are not determined. We are thrown into the world. Yes, but from there, we must act. We must choose. We must create ourselves not once, but again and again, with every moment we are alive. This means that meaning is not found. It is made. You do not discover your purpose like a treasure hidden in the ground. You construct it through effort, through struggle, through presence. It is forged in your relationships, your work, your art, your silence. It is written in how you treat others, how you carry pain, how you meet joy without clinging. To live this way is not always glamorous. It is not always praised. The authentic person is often misunderstood, even judged, but they live with a kind of inner strength that no one can take away. Because they know. I did not inherit this life. I created it. I did not follow the path. I built it. I did not escape responsibility. I embraced it, and in doing so, I became more fully alive. Sartre's vision is not for those who seek comfort. It is for those who seek clarity, who are tired of lying to themselves, who are ready to face the trembling truth of freedom and say yes. Because only in that yes do you begin to live, not as an echo, but as a voice, not as a shadow, but as a self. Thank you for joining this journey through the bold and unsettling wisdom of Jean-Paul Sartre. His philosophy is not a map. It is a mirror. It does not tell you who to be. It asks you to choose. It demands nothing less than everything: your attention, your honesty, your action. You are not defined by what has happened to you. You are defined by what you choose to do next. The past may shape you, but it does not own you. The world may influence you, but it cannot replace your responsibility. You are free. You are responsible. And that truth, if you dare to live it, can become the foundation of a life unlike any other. If this message resonated with something inside you, let it stay. Let it challenge you. Let it inspire you to stop waiting and start creating. To live from choice, not from habit. To act from truth, not from fear. And to walk through this life not as a prisoner of expectations, but as the author of your own existence. If you wish to continue reflecting on ideas that awaken, disturb, and transform, we invite you to stay with the Life Philosophy channel. Until next time, stay awake, stay responsible, and above all, stay free.